Welcome to a very Christmassy shooting the shit. Look at this. We've got the Christmas sorting hat. We've got the vintage Christmas pixie. We've got Hannah, who's just come back from a funeral. No Christmas spirit in Yorkshire at all.
No.
How is everybody? Is everybody excited for Christmas?
I realised about an hour ago that Christmas Day is next Friday. Did you know?
It's not far, is it? It is ridiculous. It's like, yeah, it's here.
Yeah, it's here.
And do you know what the stupid thing is? I do this every single year. Every single year, I start December and I go, oh, it's Christmas soon. I need to get stuff ready. And then I go, no, it's fine. You've got ages. Don't panic. It'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, it's Christmas next week and I haven't done anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll come back. Have either of you finished your Christmas shopping? Have either of you started your Christmas shopping?
No.
You've not started?
No. I'm not. I'm genuinely like I'm not in the zone at all for Christmas at all, and I'm just like, I will go on a proper old lady rant if we're going there already before we've even started.
You go for it. You have your old lady rant.
I am like, it's so. Well, it's not. I don't have kids or anything, do I? So I think it's a little bit different. But I'm so commercialized and so grumpy about the whole thing because it's just like spending all this money on like stuff for the sake of it, and I'm just not down with doing that anymore. So yeah, and now I'm just like, don't want to. So.
You have made me laugh with your marmalade text because for anyone who doesn't know, Marisha makes the most fabulous marmalade. And she's like, "Does anyone want marmalade for Christmas?" Yes, we would all like some marmalade. Are you sure it's going to be really expensive? No, we'd like some marmalade. Are you really sure?
Are you sure?
The postage. He's like, "No, we would really like some marmalade."
I know. Sure? If I was like, but dudes, do you know how much marmalade you can get for 20 kilos? That's quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? If we're shipping that much, yeah, that's what we're going up to. That's upper level. So I'm like 20 kilos. We're in for £8. That's it.
The bloody marmalade woman.
Exactly.
You are looking beautifully festive. Are you ready for Christmas, or is this a facade?
This is a facade.
I am looking
a complete and utter facade. I mean, if this could just be me ready to go for Christmas Day, then brilliant. But there's a lot to go before we get there.
Yeah.
And even though it's going to be very different this year because of pandemic and all, it doesn't seem to have alleviated as much prep as I thought it would.
No, absolutely not.
There's more prep.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Hannah, have you done your Christmas shopping? Are you ready?
Me?
Yeah.
I am not as ready as I'd like to be, but I'm not frightened.
Okay. Fair enough. So, I mean, this is one of the first things. So, obviously today we are talking about the burden of Christmas, if you like, and how it does disproportionately fall on women rather than men. I know this is not really a business subject, but it's something we're all feeling at the moment. I mean, Reese, you've already said like you don't have kids. I'm presuming you still feel that Christmas pressure. You still feel like you need to buy the presents and write the cards and get it. Do you even perhaps feel that there's slightly more pressure on you? Because I sometimes feel when people have children, they kind of accept like, oh, well, she's got young kids, she's got a lot to worry about. Whereas if you haven't, I suppose you expect to be even more perfect, aren't you?
I think that's it. I think a lot of the pressure I feel is from myself. I know that, but I can't stop it. It's like it is the build up, and I take on baking Christmas cakes, for example. So there's been 5 gone out this year in various formats.
What?
And
you can buy them in shops ready made.
Yeah. But they're homemade. This is my thing, bitches. Don't be saying that about marmalade. Oh my god. But
oh no, mine's is different.
But yeah, so the Christmas cake is mainly alcohol by the time I finish with it. But but it's stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Because actually, doing those things I do enjoy doing, but they're fairly time consuming. And I think as well, from like growing up, if you like, and you know, my parents live in different places. I'm from Leicester anyway, so actually there's the journey back, there's the going to see dad, going to see mum, who both live in different places, you know, in Leicester, going to see my nan, she's somewhere else again, and you know, there is no relax, you know, and it's that, you know, and thinking about all that. So I think, you know, it's got to the point where I think people think I'm quite grumpy about the whole thing, but actually I've just had to be a bit more selfish because it is just me running around, you know, otherwise.
I think that's the massive thing though, because so before Leon was born, we had the same thing. We would go and see my mum and stepdad, we would go and see my dad, we would go and see Dally's parents and grandparents and stuff. The first year Leon was born, also the first Christmas, Leon was 3 months old at the first Christmas after he was born. And we went round to everybody's house, and we were late setting off because, you know, we had a 3-month-old baby and we had no bloody idea what the hell we were doing. So we're then late getting to everybody's house, and literally everybody was pissed off with us. Everybody opened the door going, "We've been waiting for you. We haven't been able to eat since you know, we've been waiting. We haven't opened our presents, blah, blah, blah." And so we said after that, we were like, right, that's it. We're not doing this next year. This is ridiculous. If you want to see us and you want to see the baby, you can come to our house. We're staying there. And we've done that ever since. But it was having the baby that gave us the excuse to do that. Otherwise,
Can I just say,
yeah,
Rachel tells this story every year. You have literally never been to my house over Christmas period.
No, we've never been to
Day,
your house.
Boxing Day, 27th. You've literally never turned up to my house over Christmas.
No. It was only people that live in Lancashire, because you live in Yorkshire and therefore are not even worthy of a visit.
No, I mean, even after having children, you can stay at home at Christmas because I come to you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you put your foot down and said we're not going, I actually would come to you. So yeah, we do need to rectify that one day. We'll carry Dad up those hundreds of stairs that he moans about. Anyway, we're not getting into this family argument.
The family
And here is the problem, people that are listening. This is what happens, doesn't it? Yeah, just don't go anywhere.
Yeah, because this is what happens. There is a tremendous pressure, especially like now. Like there's a tremendous pressure to pick one side of the family. So we alternate between my family and Dave's family, who we see on Christmas Day. But it does mean that we spend at least 1 or 2 days over Christmas traveling the breadth of the country with at least one child. And like Marisha was saying, for me, there's very little relaxation because I have to, you know, Dave is very good and he does do an awful lot of shopping, and he can wrap presents, even complicated shapes. And like he is, you know, I would say 30% of a help.
30% of a help.
Which is a lot more than more people get. But still, it's exhausting, and it definitely is kind of expected that the woman will write the Christmas cards, do the shopping, sort out the food, blah, 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 blah. Because that's just the project management of a household falls to the woman mainly.
I do want to come back to this because this is interesting, but Joe, you haven't spoken yet. So what is your Christmas like? Are you also expected to do the vast majority of the work? Because you also don't have children, do you?
No, I don't. So I'd say, yeah, I do take the lion's share, and there is something of the, you know, the childless one in the family to try and be accommodating. But at the same time, I don't know, it can be a little bit different because my husband works shifts. There's some Christmases he has to work Christmas Day. So there's sometimes when we actually have to say, you know what, he's working. I'm not going to leave him by himself when he comes home on Christmas Day. So we're just going to stay put. So we have managed to have the selfish Christmas before in the past. But all it actually does is move it on a couple of days. Every year we sort of like, we don't want to do all the traveling around to see everyone, but if we don't do it Christmas Day, then it'll be Boxing Day or the day after. We'll still spend Christmas with my parents, then my husband's parents, and then, you know, see my brother and his kids and things. So yeah, there's you can't escape it.
You can't escape. I want to delve into a little bit more before we kind of move on to the burden between the childless and the women with children and the women without children. You just said then that you were like the childless one in the family. I take it, have you got brothers and sisters then that have children, young children?
Yeah, I've got an older brother with 2 young children.
Yeah. And do you feel that then Christmas is prioritized? I mean, like this, me and Hannah saying, Hannah, we've never been to Hannah's house. I think purely that became habit because we had Leon, 2 years before Hannah had Naya. So we kind of set the family routine just because we were the first ones to have children. Do you feel that that's happened in your family where because they had the children first, that family unit thing has formed around that?
Probably not quite so much, I think, because my brother also will alternate his Christmas with his sister-in-law, with his, wife's family. So we somehow managed to make it work. And I also think I do feel really lucky that neither sets of parents put a huge amount of pressure on us about there's no guilt tripping. If there's any guilt tripping, I put it on, it's myself projecting it. So I would say I'm actually quite lucky in that way. And we have just, like I say, it becomes unconventional because my husband's work, for example, we didn't celebrate Christmas with his parents until the first week in February this year.
Right.
Because timing didn't allow. He literally had 3 days off, which we'd planned to have my parents here, and then that was it. In fact, I didn't see my brother and kids. Haven't seen them for over a year now, actually.
Yeah.
Really.
I think that, and this is the thing, isn't it, that I think this is one of the things I want to come on to, that we have thought, I certainly went into this Christmas thinking, and I'm talking, 2 or 3 months ago, we're probably going to be in lockdown. There's not going to be as much pressure. It's going to be a very different, we'll probably all be stuck at home. And then the government said, we can have up to 3 households mixing and all the rest of it. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, right, pressure's back on. We've got to do all the shopping. We've got to get the food and we've got to make sure the kids have a nice time because they've had such a bloody shitty year. And it was like pressure piled back on. I don't know, what do you 3 think about that? Were you preparing for a quieter Christmas and now it hasn't happened?
Yeah. And it's almost been like the mantra. We'll do it because it's been such a shitty year. Oh, we'll do it, like we've put up our decorations like a week and a half early because it's been such a shitty year. And we bought a slightly fatter tree because it's been such a shitty year. And you spend a bit more because it's been a shitty year, blah, 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 blah. And it just the pressure is huge. But that's coming from like the perspective of, having children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, What do you do? Do you 2 feel like you're under exactly the same pressure, or do you feel like COVID has put an extra pressure on for us to have an extra special Christmas?
Well, we know what Rish is doing.
Christmas Grinch in a Christmas sorting hat.
You know it, right? I think the thing is for me, like I don't, I guess the people that I've spoken to, like I take my brother out of the equation, if you like, because he's got younger kids, but the dynamic has changed because I guess there's more pressure for it to be spread out because everyone wants to see the kids. So so they've got their own pressures with her, mum and dad and family and all of that kind of stuff. So that kind of changes the balance. But for me, like speaking to my parents and stuff like that, because we're all grown up now and all of that kind of stuff, there's actually the kind of attitude of, well, it seems a bit much for a day, and especially given that we're not out of the woods yet when it comes to COVID. It's as simple as that. And it's a case of, oh well, it's okay though for 5 days. Well, the reality is that it's going to be allowed in whatever way, shape or form, or we come into a tier or whatever, and I'm like, it's going to be like 5 past midnight on the 1st. Fucking get home. Do you know what I mean? It's just going to be like that straight away. And it's
someone's coming out.
For the sake of a day, is it, there is the, I don't know if I agree with it or not, but it's almost like is it worth it kind of thing, mentality. So it's just the whole Christmas conversation has very much changed this year. And I was, speaking to a client, a a few minutes ago, actually, before the call. And, you know, I think the people that have not been, this is a very sweeping generalization, but there's a lot of people I speak to that haven't been through furlough, for example. So actually, we've always been on. We've not stopped this year. There's been no holiday. There's been no real feel of downtime, because even if you did take time off, there are other stresses and other pressures throughout the year, especially this year. So I think that's playing a lot into a lot as well, because quite frankly, we're all knackered.
Yeah.
So
this is really real though, and I think it's really important. I mean, I have seen on my social media feeds, I know you don't do social media, Reach, but on my social media feeds recently, it's all been like, oh, we've put the tree up and oh, we've done this. And I fully admit, I said to Hannah the other day, I have spent more than I normally would have done this Christmas, mainly because I keep forgetting what I've bloody bought people. Hannah was like, I want a coat rack, and I said, all right, buy it yourself and I'll give you the money. And then she messaged me and she was like, I bought the coat rack. I was like, fuck's sake, I forgot about that. I'd also ordered her a coat rack and forgotten I'd done that. So also bought her other presents. So she's in for a very nice treat. But the reality is, as you just said, that loads of people have been furloughed. You know, the lucky ones have been on 80% of their wage for the majority of the year. A lot of people have lost their jobs. And we've got this kind of dual pressure now of, oh, we've got to make Christmas awesome because everybody's had a really shit year. But at the same time, we haven't got a lot of money. You know, we're running the risk of getting our families together. We might all infect each other with COVID. We might kill grandma off. You know, these are
not related to COVID, just to pay off the credit card.
We have got these two kind of stresses coming in, haven't we? I don't know, Joanne, how do you feel that pressure from both sides?
I think definitely coming at it from a different point of view, because we're not going anywhere. Even though we're technically allowed, we've made that difficult decision not to go. Leicester's in tier 3. We're just outside London. That looks like it's going into tier 3. And we've just decided it's not worth the extra anxiety and worry for the sake of a couple of days. And maybe that's because we've already moved away from, we will celebrate Christmas in February if we have to, like we did this year. Maybe it's just a slightly different perspective. If we had kiddies running around, yeah, I think it'd be very different. You couldn't just take them away from their grandparents at Christmas. Yeah. So for me and my husband, it is a bit pared back. I've barely done any Christmas shopping. I'm not comfortable going around shops, you know, so there's no doubling up on things. I've barely got anything.
Oh no, I've done all of mine online. I've not actually been anywhere. I think that's the problem. I think if I'd been somewhere and I had physical things to remind me, but because I've like ordered it all online and it's not even arrived yet, I'm like, oh, I'm buying more mythical presents.
Oh right, yeah. Well, I'm behind on even the online thing, which I'm now finding is a bit of a bugger, because they're all like, we can deliver this on January the 6th. But I think also there is the financial pressure. So this isn't COVID related, but I was made redundant last summer. So this is my second Christmas as, you know, my first Christmas as a self-employed person. So I'm also unwilling to throw money at a problem when it just might turn into a bigger problem next year. I mean, who knows what kind of financial situation the world's going to be in. So we are going to be pared back. I think where I am sort of investing my love and I say I haven't done any Christmas shopping. I've done it for the kids in my life, for my nephews, and I'm very close with my best friend's children, that I'm like their auntie. So I've done that to make sure they're looked after. But as for adults, it's very pared back.
Do you know what I've done though? So I said to everybody, because I won't be seeing people in the same way that I normally would, I thought I'm just going to post people vouchers. I'm not going to buy presents because they'll just sit here in a box till next Christmas. So I'm going to post vouchers. But then, whereas I would like normally buy a present and you can buy something for a tenner that looks like it costs a little bit more money, when you're sending somebody a voucher and you're like, I'm going to send you a £10 voucher for Primark, that's shit. Even at Primark, you can't buy a lot for a tenner, can you? So I found I've spent like double the price, because I'm like, I've got to send them, you know, a £20 voucher at least, or a £25 voucher. So what I thought was a kind of cost and efficiency saving actually has cost me twice as much money, and I've still got to go to the post office and post them. them all. I know Rebecca has said, hi Rebecca, she's put on the comments as well that she feels that pressure, absolutely, that they've got to make Christmas even more special and put the decorations up first and spend a bit more money and all the rest of it. But she said she doesn't know whether it's an internal rather than external pressure. I don't know, what do you three think about that? Do you think this is real, or do you think we've created this ourselves?
I feel like we are perpetuating the pressure on each other. So I was looking on social media, I was browsing Facebook at the beginning of December, and everyone had put up their tree, it seemed like, and we were driving round, on the way to school or whatever, and there was Christmas lights everywhere, and everyone had trees in the windows and stuff. And it is like Christmas has started early this year. It was like, right, Halloween, pumpkin in, Christmas tree out. And I saw that and thought, shit, I better put the decorations up. And Naya saw that and it must have felt the same, like we're the only ones who had the tree up and things like that. So it's definitely, I feel a pressure on, we've done it to ourselves and each other, and that's what really hurts.
That really hurts.
But we've been
when did you...
So I was just saying, I mean, it was all that thing of get your shopping done on Black Friday, because if otherwise you're not going to get your stuff because everyone's going to be online shopping, which as I'm finding out, yes, that would have been wise. But also I was fighting it because I wasn't in the zone, but also, I was fighting capitalism. I won't succumb to this spend. But even now, just the basic of like gift buying is a bit more tricksy. Everyone's getting a chocolate orange from the local.
Oh, I love a chocolate orange.
So do I.
There's nothing wrong with that.
A bar of marmalade from Riche.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's not actually a bad idea. So I mean, I completely agree that this pressure has kind of been put on ourselves, and I think like our neighbours put their thing up saying, "Oh, we've put our Christmas tree up," and they said we were the only ones, we were the last ones on our street to do it, and I was like, "Well, we haven't done it," and actually she hasn't done it, but people had put wreaths on the doors, so then it looked like Dally had bought a little Christmas tree, not a little fir, and he just stuck it outside the front door, because we needed somewhere to put it for the time being. And so they thought we'd got a Christmas tree. And then it sort of snowballed and everyone was like, oh yeah, everyone on the streets put their Christmas decorations up. Like, we haven't actually, we did it on Sunday night. So that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do wonder, it's interesting, isn't it, how we've all, made each other feel this pressure that, oh God, we've got to get Christmas done and we've got to make it the best Christmas. And the kids have had
Oh, she's frozen.
She's gone.
Fake up Wi-Fi. It's back active. I'm sure she was moving on to Tales from the Garage. Oh, she's back.
Sorry, I was talking away.
Well, we thought maybe you were doing a Tales from the Garage.
Yeah. No, I was actually saying that we've got this mantra in our heads that we're being told that, oh,
she's gone again.
That's it. Can't be doing this. But ask Santa for a decent fucking Wi-Fi. Jesus.
I heard what she said the first time round, if that helps. Oh, she's back.
All right, I'm going to switch my Wi-Fi over. Somebody talk.
So Rebecca, go on, Joe. Sorry.
Just that, we've sort of done it to ourselves with the decorations and like encouraging everyone on. But also, let's be honest, don't underestimate how much we're being manipulated by whether you're on social media or not, but it's all over telly, even the way things are being advertised. We are, and the fact that the government made such a fuss that they're unlocking the restrictions for 5 days. I spoke to a friend in Canada and I told her what the British government are doing for the 5 days, and she thinks it's absolute madness. Yeah. It's just, if it wasn't Christmas, we wouldn't be getting 5 days off, right?
Exactly.
So it is, let's not forget, it is about the kids, but it's also about keeping the economy going. It's all about money. So even the way that Tesco's is advertising, there's no such thing as the naughty list.
Yeah.
Everyone should deserve as much gin, well, they do, food, toys, whatever you want, you should have it. So it's being fed down our neck. Whether it's your neighbours putting your decorations up or what you're seeing constantly on the TV, on your social media, it's a Christmas frenzy that, you know, at the heart of it, there's that thing we just want to, I mean, for me, oh my God, do I want to go home and give my parents a cuddle? Yes. Has my dad just had COVID? Yes. We're staying away, you know?
Yeah.
Not the presents. I told my mum, I don't care, don't buy me anything. If we want to exchange some presents when we see each other, but, you know, it's at the root of it, there's something good, but we are being whipped into a frenzy of buying, I believe.
Yeah, we are.
I agree.
Definitely. 100%. But it's just Christmas, isn't it? That's Christmas is the festival of capitalism.
Yeah.
It is.
This is true. And I just want to say as well, so Rebecca's made a point about kind of matching pajamas and hot chocolate stations and blah, blah, blah. That is a normal Christmas thing. And I was seeing somebody the other day that I think it was a Facebook advert actually, and they were like, oh, buy your matching family pajama sets now ready for Christmas Eve. And you have these Christmas Eve boxes so that you can sit. And this kind of
Christmas Eve boxes. Well, why are people getting presents on Christmas Eve?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Fuck.
Crazy.
Well, the Christmas Eve boxes have like hot chocolate and cozy socks and matching pajamas so that you can get your Instagram ready family photographs and shit like that. And it's all of this. I mean, it's just ultimate capitalism, isn't it? Buy more shit. But social media perpetuates it because you see everybody else doing it. And the thing is, the kids see it. And the kids, you know, Leon did WhatsApp groups with his friends, and they all send each other the photos of things they've been doing. Then he comes downstairs, he's like, "Why can't we do this? You know, such and such a body's doing it." And it's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, elf on the bloody shelf! Whoever invented elf on the fucking shelf deserves shooting."
I mean, really, Rachel, it's no burden on us, is it? Because they move on their own. But you know, it's still, you know, another thing. Should we move on talking about women?
Yes, let's talk about women. Let's start with elf on the shelf and women. So, you know, all right, sorry, no, elf moves on the shelf. But, you know, all right, burden on women. Reach, how much does your fella help with Christmas?
What? None. What? No, as if. And that's just, you know, talking about it for my duration of having a relationship with any man at any time. None of them have been any help whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. So,
Joe, how much does yours help?
He does help, but it's not. I'll tell you the bit I find the hardest. It's the mental load of it all. Right?
Yeah.
If you just had to buy a list of Christmas presents that were already decided, you can do that. That's easy. It's the thought that goes into everything that I find is the overwhelming bit, and the thought that, and I think, again, we can sort of discuss this, whether it's pressure we put on ourselves as women. There's things like the Christmas card. I would love it if he would write some flipping Christmas cards, right? But he doesn't care if they don't go out the door. So part of me's like, well, why do we do them? Why do I feel like we still have to do that? Because it's tradition. And so he is some help. Again, there is only the two of us. But when it comes to the wider family, there's that thing, you're forever giving gifts that have got both your names on it. And he's got no idea what's in the present because he had nothing to do with it. And that drives me, because he's like, oh, thanks, Joe and Oliver. You're like, he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Like, I mean, Dally will help out with stuff. Like, we were doing the for the Bake Up Business Association the other week. We were doing the Christmas cards, and he said, "I'll write the Christmas cards," and that was like brilliant. That's fantastic. And then, who do I need to send them to? Can you print out the list for me? Am I putting their names, or am I just saying from the BBA? Do you want me to sign it, like print it, or do you want me to write it cursively? And I said, can you put the logos in? Do you want me to print those out? So where am I going to find the logos? Like, do you know what I mean?
Stop it now. Stop it. This is why.
Literally, it was like, right, by the time I've fucking told you this, I could have done it myself 10 times. And it's that thing of that initiative. Like, if he said, he'll say, I'll help with Christmas dinner. And he would put the lamb in. If he said, I'll help with the Christmas shopping, he would buy the meat. We wouldn't have gravy. We'd come to the morning and there wouldn't be stuffing. You know, that nobody would have thought of Yorkshire puddings. And it's all those little things that make Christmas Christmas. You know, they'll do the headline things if you tell them and you give them instructions on how to do it. But the rest of it ain't going to happen. Hannah, how useful is Dave?
Oh, go on, Joe.
No, I was just going to say, but then the whole thing, you're still project managing it. That's the thing.
That's it. It's a project management.
Yeah, it'd just be nice for it just to be done without even having to second think, is there any flipping gravy?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's all those little, and as well. And then he do, this is the thing. He does always say thank you. He always says, you've done Christmas again. You've done it much better than I could. I'm really grateful. You've made it very special.
Really?
He says all of. Yeah, so he's not unappreciative and he recognises it, but it's absolutely that mental pressure of I've got to think of all of it first. And things like getting the house done, making sure we've got enough towels when people come to visit, making sure the bathroom's clean, making sure we've got shower gel. It's those little things that just would never enter their heads in a million years.
Wait, does anybody else get thanked? Do you two get? I never get thanked.
No.
That's shocking.
Been thanked. For Christmas, I think this is it. Like, hearing the rants, it's like I agree with all of it. I think I'm just kind of, at the point where
you've checked out, Reece.
Yeah, I just kind of do. I just do because saying that the guys are no help. Well, the reality is that I'm an ultimate perfectionist. So actually, it's probably better that they're not involved because I'd have an issue with it anyway. So a lot of it is probably my own doing that people don't get involved. So I've got very high expectations. And the expectation is that someone's going to do something in the same way that I do it, and that doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot that is my own fault.
There's a big element of that, definitely. I think, especially Rachel, you can't deny that you're guilty of that as well.
No, I am a perfectionist. And Dali's grandma told us when we got married, she gave me this one piece of advice. She was amazing, like proper down to earth northern woman. And she said to me, if he ever does anything to help you, she said, don't tell him he's done it wrong. Say thank you very much. Show him a way he could have improved it, and next time he'll do it better. And I thought my pride will not if somebody has done a shit job, I cannot sit there and go, that was very good, but next, I'm like, that's fucking shit. How can you seriously look at that and think that that is a good job? Because the thing is, though, that those are the expectations on me, and that's that's how I've been brought up, and that's what people will say to me, like, well, you've not done it very well, so why should I, because he's a man, say, oh well, at least you tried? It's like, no, try.
If you gave me presents that were wrapped really badly, I wouldn't say to you, Rachel, that's a fucking shit job you did.
I would.
Or like if the gravy was lumpy, or if I had to Marisha. Or if I had to if we ran out of shower gel, I wouldn't kick off. I'd think, oh, it's really nice that you tried and made the effort.
But where does this come? I've been thinking about this. So I wasn't going to send Christmas cards, and I mentioned it to my mum, and she was like, oh yes you are. And I was like, I'm a 40-year-old woman, 41 or whatever, and I still feel like I need to do what my mum tells me. I suddenly felt like a bad person because I just wasn't feeling it this year. I thought, I'm just but then I think I'm just perpetuating it, I'm making it work. And it's so much that you learn that's been passed down that even as 21st century women, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
You know what, so Dali's mum she's really involved in the church, and she is her community where she lives, like literally she's famous. You cannot go to Exeter without somebody knowing who she is, and she's brilliant, but she has the same expectation. Send Christmas cards, and our Christmas card list got to where it had 250 people on it, and it was taking a week just to write them and send them out because they've got a massive family. There's so many of them, and in the end I said, we had this, we had to have a sit down conversation about the Christmas cards, and I said to her, I can't do this. I'm trying to run a business. I've got a young child. I've got horses. I've got a house. I'm not. I said, I am going to make a donation to charity, and I will make a donation to a charity that you like because I know this is important to you. And I said, but please tell everybody that this is what we were doing. And you could see it. She was upset by it, but she did go along with it, and now she's done it. But you see, another part of me is because I kept my name when we got married, and all of their family send the Christmas cards to Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. S. Daly. And so part of me was like, I'm not fucking sending you a bloody card if you can't even call me by my proper bloody name. I'm going to give the money to the donkeys instead. But it wasn't. But, you know, it was a thing, Joe. It was an actual thing and a process that we had to go through and have an honest conversation, because absolutely it was important to her. And part of me sees that, you know, sometimes now that Dali's grandma's died, that Christmas card is the only time in the year when we will hear from certain members of the family. So I do get it. I get it, but I don't know. I mean, Hannah, do you send out Christmas cards?
Yeah, I send them out to the people on the lane, because it's a very small lane and everyone knows each other. And I think if I didn't, I'd be blackballed. And then I think while I'm writing them, I may as well do the family. And then whilst I'm doing the family, I may as well do my friends. And then before you know it, I've written loads of Christmas cards and I sent them out. But this year, Naya's done them. So Naya wrote them. I had to do the lists and stuff, but Naya's written the Christmas cards. So that's a big help. And I'm sure if I gave Dave a list, he would write the Christmas cards as well.
Really? But it's that thing, isn't it?
My list.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I didn't give him a list and I didn't buy the Christmas cards, it won't get done.
Yeah, I don't know. Reece, do you do Christmas cards?
No, I don't, and I've not done it for years because it's, for me, that's another pressure. I think I might. It depends how I'm feeling, you know, and you know. So if I know I'm not seeing people, but to be honest, it's not a first thought. You know, the likelihood of me sending a card is usually because I've received one and I feel bad. Like, I live on a short street as well. There's only like 7 houses and they're sending cards. Now I'm like, fuck, I've got to go and buy some cards because, you know, but I also know that they will get written and then left on the kitchen table.
Yeah,
I'm full of that. So I'm just like, well,
do you know what? So we just, for stupid reasons, we decided to redecorate the living room this weekend, you know, 2 weeks before Christmas. Perfect time to start redecorating. And I cleared out my bookcases, which I haven't done for quite a few years. And behind one of them, there was like 3 years worth of Christmas cards that Hannah brings from Dave's family for me to hand out to other members of our family. And they haven't. They've just fucking sat there on the Christmas card, on the bookshelf, sorry. And they're not going to happen. What we did this year, so we have a similar thing we have a really small, we live on a small lane with a really nice community of people. So what we did was we bought everybody a ready mixed cocktail and Leon went round and delivered them a cocktail rather than, you know, that took no effort from me other than I paid somebody to do it.
And money bags though, how much was that? Cards are like 20 for £3.
Yeah, I mean, it was like £2.50 for a cocktail, but there's only 7 people, so it wasn't a lot of money. And they've done things, you know, they've baked things and given us, you know, bottles of wine and stuff because we look after everybody's dog. So yeah, it was more expensive than a Christmas card, but I did that and I thought that's a night, at least I've done something, but it hasn't taken me any effort. But that's the problem, isn't it?
No, for me, my issue with sending Christmas cards, because you've kind of hit the nail on the head there, is that you felt more pleasure giving out, you know, the cocktail or whatever, because someone's going to enjoy it, because it's accepted, because it's something that you've thought about and it will be appreciated. Christmas cards for me just get, you know, thrown instantly almost. Do you know what I mean? It's throwaway stuff. I don't enjoy doing it. People are not that fussed about getting them. Okay, it may be different if it was, you know, sending to a granny or a granddad that loves words and that's, you know, how they, you know, they love that kind of stuff. I get that. Yeah, because my nan's in that category. But, you know, for me, you know, the art of giving for me is not just for the sake of it, and I think a lot of it is for the sake of it, and that's why I don't do it anymore. And I think, you know, I see people like, oh, I'm like Christmas Grinch, but you know, it's, for me, it's just breaking down that kind of expectation, because no, you know, like you've just said then, I've started decorating 2 weeks before Christmas, you know, and it's like, so fucking what? Do you know what? It doesn't matter, and you should be able to decorate when you want, you know, and it's like, I kind of fit into that kind of category really, but you know, yeah, it may well be very different if I had kids and stuff like that, but you know, that's, I think you have to force the change sometimes, and it might not particularly be popular, but you have to do it for your own sanity.
You're absolutely right, and this is the thing. I was sending Christmas cards out to those 150 relatives who I do vaguely know, but I've met them maybe once or twice, because it was expected and because they send me a Christmas card. And you're absolutely right. What do I do with them? I put them in a bloody box and recycle them. Put them in the recycling, and that's it. It doesn't really mean anything. Whereas sending something that you've thought about is much more kind of authentic, isn't it? So we are coming up to time. We've answered our own question, really, haven't we? The mental burden is massively on women. Do you think we can ever change that, or do you think this is our lot, or do you think that we do this to ourselves and that's what really hurts? Do you think if we just fucked off Christmas and said 1 year, that's it, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing the shopping, I'm not buying presents for everybody, I'm not putting the tree up, I'm not wrapping anything, do you think Christmas would get done?
No. I think it would get done to a level, but I think when you've got kids, and there's a part as well of wanting to carry on the traditions of your family, especially like for us, like our mums died, and so for us, making Christmas special is like a little bit of our mum, like it's it's a kind of nice traditions that we want to pass on to keep like that kind of memory going and stuff. So I think it wouldn't. No, I don't think it would get done to the same levels and make those magic memories for our children that we had growing up. And I think that's the big thing, isn't it? Like when you've got kids, you want to make it like every Christmas an amazing Christmas, because really there's so few of them when they're aware of it to when they want to go and hang out with their mates. There's so few of them. You really need to kind of make everyone special and amazing, so that when you're dead, they carry on with it.
You know what, as well, I think Joe and Rishi said about having these kind of really laid back Christmases as well, and we did that. I think it was the year that Nanny died. For some reason, all the other members of the family were off somewhere else. So it was me, Dally, Leon, and my dad, and that was it. The four of us for Christmas. And I went into it thinking this is going to be the best Christmas ever. I don't have to do anything. We can just watch films all day. We can just get drunk. And do you know what? Actually, it was the most boring Christmas day I've ever had. And I got to the end of it, and I thought that was really fucking miserable. I wish everybody was here and we had people together. So are you two looking forward to your quieter Christmases, or do you think you'll get to the end of it and go, fuck this shit?
Go on, Joe.
Well, it won't be the first time for me, and I think I'm just not used to a big pile-on all-together Christmas. I mean, it makes my heart ache a little bit. We don't. And as growing up, I think it's what you used to growing up. Growing up, we always just had Christmas Day, the four of us. So that's what it was,
Yeah.
It was, and all the rest of the family on Boxing Day, everything, that was when all the cousins and all the aunts, and it was a crazy second Christmas Day, different thing. A very different setup, don't have kids. There's not as many kids in on my in-laws side, so it's different anyway. But it's paring it down to really sort of it sounds really cheesy, what matters, and that's fine. It will be different. We'll be sad because we don't get to see our parents and because of the type of year it is, and we don't know when we will get to see them again. But yeah, I'm getting all choked up. I do love Christmas, and I love traditions, and I love the certain things, and I do think that kids have a lot to do with it. And there's certain things I do in my home for my best mates' kiddies that I had done for me as a child, which I probably wouldn't do if I didn't have, at least I've got some kids up the road to pop in. But yeah, so we moan about it, but I think there's a lot, we do it to ourselves because there's a lot to enjoy about it. I would miss certain elements of it. But I suppose, just have years of not having small people around. It is different. It is pared down in a different way. So I think we do it to ourselves, but it's because of those traditions. I do wish I'd had this little pep talk about Christmas cards before I sent them this morning. Right, getting them in the post, because the other thing that my mum makes me feel really guilty about, she's like, oh, Joanne, I've got mine all done because you can send them second class, you'll save yourself a lot of money. And I always, if I ever send my mum any card, I have to send it second class because I feel like I'm going to get told off. So I'm just going to put that out there. It's very expensive for a first class stamp.
I do
Not
genuinely.
necessarily.
I do genuinely make a donation to charity though. This year I've done it to a local homeless charity. In fact, I think last year it was a homeless charity, but a different one. But I do genuinely do that because then I can point people towards it and say, this is where my 40 quid has gone. And at least I don't feel too guilty. I don't know, Reach, what do you think? Are you looking forward to your quieter Christmas?
Yeah, but I've had a quiet Christmas for a few years now, to be honest. So it's not new for me either.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, I could say that I'm being quite selfish about it, and maybe I am, but that's where I'm at, you know, and that's kind of what I need. And I don't. It's not like I've got, you know, kids running around and stuff like that. And but, you know, there are elements of things that I do that are tradition, i.e. all the cakes that have gone out, for example. You know, I get known for that kind of stuff. And so, you know, that's what's happened, you know. So for the entirety of December, I'm mainly in the kitchen, you know. So I think it's a different kind of, you know, I do put the pressure on myself, and I know that. So, you know, by the time it comes to Christmas, I'm, to be honest, quite happy about just being chill. You know, but if I had kids, I think it would be a very different story, and I wouldn't be able to keep up what I do now. That's the reality. Do you know what I mean? It would change, because it would have to. I wouldn't be able to do all the things that I currently do. They'd be very different. So I'll be drunk by 10 o'clock. I don't know about you lot. So
yeah, we will be definitely.
Absolutely.
We have to get up at 5:30 with children.
Yeah, sherry for breakfast on Christmas Day. But yeah, I do remember when my dad, when Hannah and I were kind of early 20s, and we had Christmas. Dad was there for Christmas Day, and we got to about 4 or 5 o'clock, and he said to me, "I hope you and Hannah are going to have children soon, because Christmas Day is really boring without kids." And yeah, they do. You know, I do always think, like, I wish I could have a day where I don't have to do all the fuss. But actually, you know, it's not Christmas. Christmas is about kids and excitement.
I have an issue with that, man. We could take this on to another call, but fucking hell, the amount of pressure that comes from somebody saying that, though. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The Christmas kids. Well, I don't have them. So what does that mean? That all, you know, all of us.
Christmas is invalid.
Yeah.
We've been erased. We're invalid. We're irrelevant.
You're invalid. You're invalid women.
Fuck off.
Rubbish women.
Oh my God.
I meant in our house, because it has always been about the children, and there were lots of cousins and stuff, so it always was. So that's why when Joanne said before about it's what you're used to in terms of Christmas. Our Christmases have always been about the kids, and they were focused around that. So yeah, without that, I don't know how to do a Christmas Day. I'm like, oh, this is not right. It's not right.
Yeah. The thought of like just the 4 of us on Christmas Day makes me want to cry. Like if we hadn't have been allowed to leave the house on Christmas Day and go and see people, I was like really dreading a Christmas with just the 4 of us.
Yeah. So there we go. Anyway, we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. You two, with your empty wombs, are pointless. We have purpose.
We have purpose, but we have the pressure of the mummy cult.
Yeah, which is absolutely bollocks, and I'm doing my best. So it doesn't matter.
Matching pajamas, whereas we're not. So who's the fool?
Exactly.
As the woman in the Christmas sock and hat.
This is essentially the thing, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether you've got kids, whether you're single, whether you're gay, whether you're married or divorced. It seems that whoever you are, Christmas brings pressures, and Christmas is a time where everybody feels like, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. Nobody feels like they ever get it right or do it right. So maybe one day we will all be able to stop putting this ridiculous amount of pressure on ourselves and just fucking enjoy it. But until then, get writing your fucking Christmas cards, Joe, and you've missed the boat on second class. So I hope you're going to send them first class, do it properly.
Yeah. And if you're not sending cocktails to your neighbours, then you're doing it wrong.
All wrong.
And go and get your matching jimmies, and that's it.
Right.
Sort yourselves out.
Have a lovely Christmas, everybody. We're no more sessions now this year, so we'll see you in 2021.
Yeah.
Bye.